Instead, we have the opportunity to make a habit of empathy, to recognize ourselves in each other.
My name's Aaron Voldman, and I'm the Executive Director of the Student Peace Alliance, organization building a movement of young people in America to advance peace building, create a culture of peace. I'm so proud to be in a country where the President of the United States notes that empathy is one of the most important character of what it means to be alive, why we're here. One thing I love about empathy, and I think is so critical about it, is that when we're empathetic, we feel like we're playing on the same team with other people. When we experience empathy ourselves, we feel like we're not alone in addressing why we're alive and what we're doing, and that we have someone to be with us as we overcome the most difficult challenges. Empathy allows for the capacity for us to move beyond fear and to be able to overcome that which we most want to create, that which is challenging us most in our lives. So be empathetic. I feel like once we got that down, everything else will flow. Thank you.
What can we do to create a culture of empathy? Is there some ideas you have for how to create that kind of a culture?
I mean, I think empathy is something we need in every single facet of our lives. It should be a value of when we make a business decision. Is it something that creates more peaceable, right relationships? When we create policy, is it policy that empathizes with the needs of various communities? Is it policy that recognizes that we're born into certain systems? That the fact that 1 in 3 black males are destined for jail in 2001 unless something changes, we have to have empathy for the fact that that is not the fault of black America. That there are certain systems in place that have created this reality. And we need to be empathetic and understanding about the levels of violence that are happening in our community and move beyond fault and move beyond blame and work to create spaces where we can all step into our full potential. We need to hold people accountable, and yet at the same time we need to also acknowledge the validity of the challenges that they have and stand with them in partnership as we're working to create a shared future. So it's a difficult task. It's tough, really, really hard. It's like, be empathetic. It's like, oh, okay, I'm being empathetic. So I think one practice I've learned is through the Be Peace program, which brings together heart math as well as nonviolent communication, is to experience and focus on empathy within our own hearts, within our own lives, and to stand in that place and with that guidance to allow the words, the policies, the practices to flow from there. So I'm thrilled there's a documentary being made all about empathy. It deserves to be the single thing that we're most focusing on. And thrilled that I can share these words with you.
And if you have a definition about empathy, how would you define it?
Man, that's hard. I don't feel like, that's an issue. I feel like that's something that, like E equals MC squared, that like we all should be learning. What is empathy? I think for me, empathy is the ability to stand with each other's challenges, the ability to be in a place where we're open to standing in their personhood and being that person with that person, and it's something that opens the space to overcome anything that confronts us. But it's mysterious. It's like what is empathy? What is God? What is peace? It's one of those most ultimate challenges and questions that throughout my life I'll be working to understand, and hopefully by the time I head out that I'll fully get and fully live by.
Well, it's often described through the metaphors of standing in someone else's shoes,
and
through someone else's eyes. So if you create a metaphor, this is like extra credit.
Extra credit? Oh wow.
If you create a metaphor, your own metaphor, so if empathy was like a type of animal or a type of land or something like that, what would empathy be like if you create a metaphor for it?
I think to be empathetic is to step into divine potential. It's to acknowledge the unity of the wonder of the world and the challenges that we create, and to live by the recognition that we are truly one soul that is striving to fulfill its potential. that there's an infinite possibility when we bring together these energies, and empathy is the channel, it's the vessel that makes wonder and beauty possible. I mean, when you look at the Truth and Reconciliation Commissions of South Africa, extraordinarily magnificent and extraordinarily controversial. That on the one hand, the people of South Africa were working to create a space of accountability, but we're also creating a space for humanity to flourish. And I think it's a quintessential ultimate challenge of the social justice movement to reconcile justice with peace and to recognize that our actions should incorporate both qualities. I think why empathy is so critical is it allows for us to recognize that the actors who've done things that are not appropriate are human beings, that they deserve to live even if they're acting in a way that is not in alignment with how we wish for humans to live. And so while we need to have systems that hold people accountable, we also need to develop the qualities that allow for them to be in those systems and to actualize their potential. And so being empathetic is something we all ought to strive to be, independent of if we're in a justice system or in a business or in a government or in our homes. It's an essential part of what it means to be alive. I think empathy is the essential ingredient of the new peace-building movement in America. It's critical that we hold governments accountable for military actions. It's critical that we hold anyone who commits a crime accountable for that crime within our borders. Yet it's the quality of empathy that ultimately will transform human relationships to a place where we know is possible. Sports programs, mentorship, arts programs, healing circles, those are all the vehicles, the spaces where we can create empathy. But ultimately, it's the capacity of our leadership, the capacity of our mentors, the capacity of our coaches, of our teachers, to truly embody empathy that allows for that switch to go on that truly will shift the way that America exists with our world and the way in which we're truly going to be able to fulfill our potential as a nation. Thank you.
See the world through other people's eyes. Now, empathy is a quality of character that can change the world.